All right, here we go. Excuse me. My 1960s Rolling Stones album collection. I've left anything from the 70s out. These are mainly Australian original Deckers. So the first album in Australia is called The Rolling Stones. The same track listing as the UK on the beautiful red Decca label. Then the follow-up in Australia was 12 by 5 on the red Decca. These are mono. That was mono. This is mono. This is the same track listing as the USA, except there's a spelling mistake on here. Where are we? Down the bottom there, side 2. In the middle, congratulations is spelt wrong instead of congratulations. Okay, this is the second Stones album, just called The Rolling Stones number 2, which is the UK version of 12 by 5. It's almost a completely different album. There's virtually no, there's only 3 tracks that are the same, so it's quite interesting. This is a, probably, I would say about a 1968 or 69 reissue, because that's the red box Decca. It's a mono copy. The red was phased out in mid-69. Okay, so the third album, this is the one I've played the most. I bought this when I was 14, and I absolutely loved this album. I think it was the third album I bought, and it got played. It still sounds terrific. It's a mono. Excellent album, out of our heads. I won't, for time reasons, I won't show every red label. This one's quite interesting, because I bought this, I think, in the mid 80s. Yes, I did. Got Live If You Want It. This was originally, on Decca, but I never bought it at the time because a friend of mine had it. But this is a funny one because this is a Japanese one on London. If you look at the label, when you put that over the spindle, it looks like he's doing a poo, and when you put side 1 on the spindle, it looks like he's got an erection. Typical this is Japanese. That's that Japanese quirkiness, they're it's a very Japanese thing. Yeah, so all these are originals I bought at the time, bar that one and Beggar's Banquet, which I played to death and had to get the new copy. It just got played and played and played everywhere. Okay, up next was Aftermath, Australian Decca. There's a stereo, full frequency, same red label, just for the full frequency. This is an Australian mono between the buttons, red, of course. Much better in mono than stereo. Stereo mix, I don't know, I just don't like it. I have shown this before in a mono versus stereo shootout. This is the mono, the fold out and all that. But this is the one I love. This is a beautiful black Decca, which is normally a classical label at the time. And I just love that black Decca label. It just looks so mean and nasty. Now, this is my mono, the Satanic Majesty's Request, Australian mono. It's not a true mono, it's a roll down stereo. I have the one with the American, on the London label, American copy of this with the 3D thing, but I gave it to my nephew recently, along with the Sun Girls, with the withdrawn cutout, the one that Lucille Ball and some of the other famous people didn't want their pictures on, so I gave him those 2 collectibles. This also, I also have a Australian stereo copy of this. I love this just because it's on the black, beautiful black Decca label. I have a mono bootleg of this, which I'll show after all this is done. I won't show my Sticky Fingers or any of the others because that comes later. That's 70s Rolling Stones. This is not my original. This is an ABKCO reissue, probably 80s, I'd say. I tend not to play this. I tend to play the CD, which I'm quite happy with. I just love the cover so much. This is an original, my original Let It Bleed, Australian, and this is a late 69 edition because it's the boxed blue Decca. They also have the boxed red. It also contains the poster. Thank goodness, because many of those posters went up on the wall at the time. Now, and just to show, another one is the wonderful little Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits Volume 2, with that fantastic inner. And this is, I do believe, yes, a blue box Decca. I probably bought this in the early 70s, actually. I didn't really need it because I had all the songs on albums and singles, but I just love the cover so much and it was on special, so I bought it. One thing I do want to show is very quickly, you won't find this listed on Discogs. I looked it up. I bought this quite a few years ago. This is a CD. Apparently it's a bootleg. I didn't know when I bought it. I had no idea. I thought it was a bit strange when it said Mecca instead of Decca. I thought, hang on, what's going on here? And then the Mono Majesty. And oh look, this is so good. It's got the singles, you know, We Love You and 2000 Light Years from Home included, plus a lot of offcuts from their Satanic Majesties, you know. So, look, this, as you can see on the back, it's got absolute pile of extras. This is great. This is a needle drop from either a West German or a USA, a proper mono mix. And it just sounds like a completely different album to the stereo. Completely different. I love them both. I mean, this is the one. This is my second favourite Stones album after Exiles. I play this all the time. I still do. All these years later, I play it once, twice a year minimum. I just love this album. This is a truly psychedelic album. Sgt. Pepper's is not psychedelic. It's vaudeville. It's experimental. It's brilliant, but it's certainly not psychedelic. Not maybe Lucy in the Sky, but this is genuinely psychedelic. It's a great album. You know, people love it or hate it. I love it. But this sounds contemporary. It's almost like a funk album. They've taken out the mixes so different that the psychedelia, it's incredible. All I'm saying is, I've got to watch the time here because I did one of these the other day and it was too long. If you ever see this, jump on it. This is the proper mix, and it's a needle drop, but it's pretty damn excellent. I'll tell you now. You play the original, and it's an experience. You play this, and it sounds contemporary. I swear, it's so different. Most of the psychedelic effects are sort of gone, and yet Charlie's drums are way up, bang, and the basses. It thumps, this thing. It's unreal. So just recommending it. If you ever see it and you're looking for a mono, jump on it. Okay, better get off now. Thanks for watching, everyone.